Be careful modeling your career after the career of someone else. Be careful modeling your life after the life of someone else. Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life. What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. Hope y'all are having an amazing day. I hope you're doing things in a way or in a manner that's in alignment with who you are. Okay? And that really leads into today's episode, where I'm going to challenge you to be careful modeling your career after the career of someone else. Be careful modeling your life after the life of someone else, because we are all designed to live the life that we are called to live, not to be a copy of the life that someone else is living. It's interesting, at the recording of this is like the beginning of, the football season, high school football, college football, the NFL in the United States. So I'm talking about American football. So for those that are listening outside of the United States, I'm talking about American football, not football, i.e. soccer, as, you all would call football around the world. I'm talking specifically to those that understand that this season is American football season. And, when you look at football players and you look at individuals who have a desire to play American football at the highest level, a lot of individuals model their career after franchise players. They model their career after, someone who spent the entirety of their career as the franchise player of one particular franchise, right? They spent their whole career, or the vast majority of their career, with one team. They were known as the quarterback or the receiver or the offensive lineman, whatever the position is. They were known as that player for that team, right? They were a franchise player for that team. And a lot of people who are, have those aspirations to get to the highest level want to model their life after that type of player. But the thing is, everybody, even those that operate at the highest level, are not always designed to operate as a franchise player for one specific team. That might not be your trajectory. You look at some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady spent the vast majority of his career with one franchise, right? You look at, so far, one of the greatest quarterbacks is currently playing right now. Patrick Mahomes has been with one franchise, right? You have a lot of quarterbacks who are known to have long, prolific careers as the franchise quarterback of one specific franchise. But then you have other individuals who play at the highest level, who play quarterback in the NFL, or the highest level of American football. And some of them have made a very long, successful, and prosperous career as a journeyman. They've done so where they've never really been established as anyone's franchise quarterback, but their value is they've always been a bridge between franchise quarterbacks, or they were, a stopgap to come in and become the starting quarterback after someone else got hurt. Or they've been, maybe that number two or that security blanket for a franchise for a certain number of years. But by following that playbook or following that pathway, they've understood, or they've come to understand, that their value proposition is not as a franchise quarterback for any one particular team, but to be more so a serviceable option and having flexibility to serve as a valuable option for multiple teams. And they've built their career in doing that. So again, as a kid, very few people who have aspirations of playing quarterback in the NFL would think about the option of being a journeyman or being someone who goes from team to team or starts for multiple teams throughout their career. Very few people look at that as an option. But the reality is there are some people who are wired to do that versus becoming a franchise quarterback for one individual team. You know, in business or in corporate America, the same thing happens. You have some individuals who are synonymous with one corporate entity for the entirety or the majority of their professional career. Whereas you have other individuals who, if you look at their career trajectory, are turnaround specialists. They are individuals who come in and serve as an interim CEO. They come in and right the ship after something has gone awry. But they were there simply to get things on solid ground, to pass the baton to the person who was going to take the organization to new heights. But their trajectory is not as the franchise executive for one particular organization. See, the reason I was pointing this out is that at times we look for models for what it is we're looking to do. And a lot of times the dominant models that are available to us are cool, they're enticing, and they're appealing, but those dominant models might not be in full alignment with who we actually are. You might be someone that's designed to be somebody's franchise executive, somebody's franchise quarterback, somebody's, the face of an organization, and that's where your career trajectory goes. That might be you, but you also might be the one who's wired to be more of an independent voice, who can serve as a liaison between multiple places, who is not really designed to be stuck in one thing, but your wealth of experience makes you valuable and nimble enough to be able to go between multiple things. And maybe because of how you're wired and how you're aligned and what you're called to do, you're designed to stay pretty independent so that you're not encumbered by some of the other things that come into play when you are somebody's franchise identity, or you're somebody's franchise face, or you're somebody's franchise executive or quarterback or player, if we're talking about sports. Because the thing is, yes, the positives are you get the financial and the status benefits, but then there are downsides to that as well, because you take on all the good stuff, but then you also take on all the negative stuff as well. And so some people are wired to deal with both sides of it. Others aren't. But you have to really do some really deep soul searching. Spend some time in prayer. Spend some time with counsel. Spend some time exploring. Spend some time gaining experience so that you understand how you are specifically wired and what trajectory you should follow. And we should use other people as examples from the standpoint of gathering some gems and jewels of wisdom and insight. But we have to run this through the filter of understanding whether or not this is a direct path that I need to follow or not. And that comes from understanding what you're called to do, your mission, your purpose, and making sure that you stay in alignment with that. Okay? So again, think through the lens of the franchise quarterback versus the journeyman quarterback in the NFL. But also think about this through the lens of that notable CEO who's been with an organization for decades, and that CEO or that executive whose career is based on them being a turnaround specialist, or someone who is an interim or has had an interim tag, on their professional title. Think about those two juxtapositions, those two differences, and think through the lens of how you fit. And run opportunities, run examples that you're studying and following and learning from, run those through the filter of whether or not this is in alignment with who you are called to be. Well, I hope this has been beneficial, and I want you to sit on this one, because again, we all can achieve success, but how we achieve success matters, right? Because we don't want to create Pyrrhic victories. We don't want to create these victories in which, the victory that we accomplish is pretty much nullified due to the casualties along the way. Like, we don't want victories like that, right? We want to make sure that these things are done in the right way. And again, we're going to make mistakes, and some of this is trial and error. But I think if we start through the lens of understanding who you are, what you're called to do, whose you are spiritually, and you stay in alignment with all of that as you make decisions and as you walk through life, we minimize some of the downsides. So anyway, as always, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Grab a copy of my book, The 33 Laws of Impact and Fulfillment. And until next time, y'all have an amazing day. All right, peace. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.